At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in Healthcare Informatics, Digital Marketing and Analytics, Business Analytics, or Financial Analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back, folks. This is the More Money Show. I'm economist Steve Moore. Don't forget to sign up for our free hotline at the unleashprosperity.com. Just go to unleashprosperity.com and sign up for the free economic newsletter that comes out every morning. A lot of the subjects we talk about on the show, we cover in that hotline. And one of the big issues that we've been covering a lot lately, what I think the biggest economic and national security and economic security issue for our country is, will we continue to lead the technology age that we live in, what I call the digital age? And we're now moving past the internet, although the internet's still going to be integral, into an age of robotics in terms of AI, which is going to be incredible. But a lot of people are nervous about it. So I wanted to bring on Steve DelBianco, who is the CEO of a group called NetChoice. And he is an expert on these issues. So listen carefully to what he has to say. Steve DelBianco, thanks so much for joining.
Hey, Steve, thanks for having me. I want to make sure your listeners know that your hotline is required reading for my entire team every day. And I encourage your listeners to subscribe.
Well, thank you, Steve. And so I want to get right into it because there's so much I want to cover with you. You and I talk pretty regularly. People are nervous about AI. They're nervous about data centers. They're worried about transmission lines. And so can you walk people down from the ledge? Because a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to lose my job or I'm going to die of cancer because of transmission lines. And it seems like there's a whole mythology out there about this coming revolution.
Steve, you're right. I travel all around the country, town hall meetings with politicians. I go to planning commission meetings, state legislatures. And I have for 6 years as my business has tried to help America's major tech companies to build data centers around the country. These are the companies that are in the Magnificent Seven. Your listeners all have them in their retirement accounts: Apple, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Amazon, NVIDIA, all of those companies. And they're building about one data center every week. We have for many years. And we have to do
one a week?
One a week on average, Steve.
Wow.
Even before AI came along, and that's for one simple reason. Take a look at your phone. Look at all the photos, videos. Look at all the e-commerce that you do, all the messages you send where you attach those photos or videos, or social media where you share them. And what you'll also realize is that America's users, we almost never delete our old photos, videos, and messages. So everything in there is accumulating. More and more businesses are moving online through cloud services. And everybody loves the cloud. You buy a new phone and the cloud enables you to transfer everything from old phone to new phone. But look, the cloud doesn't live in the clouds, right? The cloud is in a big white building about the size of an aircraft carrier. And that building costs roughly $1 billion to construct. And most of that cost.
Wow. $1 billion. Wow.
That's right. And most of the cost is the servers that go inside.
And by the way, so let me just interrupt you for 1 second, Steve. So, but the technology companies are building these, right? I mean, they're underrating the cost of building these data centers.
They're paying the full cost. There's not a dime of government or taxpayer money in the private sector that's building all of the tools that all of your listeners use every day. The mapping. And
this is an investment binge. These things are constructed with union workers. They pay taxes too, right? I mean, in Loudoun County, right outside where I live, it's one of the major taxpayers in the whole counties that pays for the schools, pays for the playgrounds, pays for the fire department. All the public services are largely financed because of these data centers.
45%. It's over half the tax revenue in Loudoun County. It's not just the investments that are covered. They've also been able to offer tax relief, property tax relief to all of us who live in Loudoun County. For 10 straight years, Loudoun County has reduced the rate that residents pay on your property taxes. They've reduced it because data centers have picked up more and more of it.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer. This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
And so the other anxiety, so the point is this is economic development for a lot of these smaller towns because they're not building these data centers in the middle of big cities. These are oftentimes in exurbs and suburbs. It brings tax revenue in, brings jobs in. Why are people opposed to this?
There's a general anxiety about change, and we live in an anxious time. This country has never been buffeted by so many changing circumstances and a political divide, and it's completely understandable why people of all walks of life are nervous. And they also, maybe they don't trust what they're hearing on the news or what they hear from businesses. So a lot of them need to see it with their own eyes, and that's usually the way that we do it. We explain why we need data centers, and it's because you, customers, need data centers. We're not building them for ourselves. And we talk about the fact that around the country there are rural areas, or just outside of the suburbs, where a county has abundant land that's affordable, and they are welcoming with open arms a data center that invests $1 billion, has two years of construction with 2,000 workers pouring money into the local economy. And then when the data center opens, it employs 200 high school or trade school grads at an average of 6 figures. These are 200 guys that don't have to move to the big city to have a career and raise a family of their own. And these are also communities where the county commissioners are ecstatic about the idea of doubling their property tax revenue, giving relief to property tax payers, as well as spending money on infrastructure. But there's one critical ingredient, and it's Steve, power. We have to have accessibility to power.
So I think a lot of people are confused about what this revolution is about. By the way, I bet a lot of people don't even know what a data center is. What is a data center, Steve DelBianco?
2-story building, like I said, about the same footprint as a aircraft carrier. And inside are roughly 2 floors, and along each floor are racks. There are racks of servers, approximately 6 or 7 feet tall. And on those racks are server blades. Those server blades have storage, the same kind of storage you have on your computer and your phone. Oh, but they also have AI chips from NVIDIA and other American companies. And those AI chips mean that data center uses even more electricity to power AI.
The bottom line, though, is that you don't have internet without these data centers, right? You're not going to have a lot of the technology. The data centers are the sort of the brain center of this whole operation.
They are, and that the cloud has always been in a data center, and the cloud is how we are able to access services. Like I can look at archives of More Money on WABC's website. That's all in the cloud. It's not quote unquote in the internet. It's in a cloud storage facility, and the internet enables us to have access to it.
So what would happen if the data center, if we fall behind a data center? For example, just one practical application. I don't even carry money around anymore, Steve. I mean, if somebody comes and robs me, I maybe have $20 in my wallet, but every financial transaction I make is right on my Apple phone. I don't, it's amazing that just all of these financial transactions are taking place in the cloud through data centers. And so if they go down, we're going to be screwed, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So the companies that belong to NetChoice are constantly constructing data centers. Like I said, the average is about 1 a week or 50 a year. And nowadays, with the advent of AI, those data centers are somewhat larger and burn more electricity because AI requires more electricity to do the kind of processing that happens when, let's say that you and I are talking to our phone, it's converting our voice to text. That's AI. That burns electricity. Or we're using a chatbot like ChatGPT or Claude, and we're doing research. Or let's suppose we're in Google search, and when the search results come back, a lot of your listeners know that Google will do an AI overview of your search results. Well, that's using AI and burning electricity. The good news here is that every time our economy has ever grown, we've also grown the amount of electricity we use. This is true since the Industrial Revolution. Electricity growth is not a problem. It's merely a challenge we need to solve. And for 30 years, America has used practically the same amount of electricity. The average annual growth rate, compound annual growth rate for 30 years is less than 0.5%. We just didn't use a lot of electricity as we got rid of our manufacturing base, and all of our appliances became significantly more efficient in using electricity. But look, those days are over. We need more electricity in this country.
So, Steve, we got to take a quick break. Can you hold on for one more segment? Because if you can, I'd love to ask what I want to discuss with you in our second segment, because this is fascinating, folks. This is about why the digital revolution, AI, robotics is going to be so amazing for your life. Can you talk when we get back, Steve, about why people should be excited about this future?
Of course.
Okay, we'll take a quick break then. This is the More Money Show. I'm talking to Steve DelBianco of NetChoice, and we're going to explain to you why you should not be nervous but excited about this incredible future of robotics and AI. So stick with us. We'll be right back. This is Steve Moore. We're back with the More Money Show. I've got just a few minutes left with my good friend Steve DelBianco. In a few minutes, we're going to be talking about a cool study that I've been involved with my friend Tom Phillipson about what it would be worth to the country if we could cure cancer. But this story that we're talking about now is about as big as curing cancer. I'm talking to Steve DelBianco about, and I'm going to pose this question to him. Steve, we only got about 4 or 5 minutes left, but tell people, because when I talk to people about AI and robotics, they're nervous. They oh my God, the robots are going to take my job and I'm not going to have anything to do and I'm going to be poor and destitute in the street. And they think that there are going to be pollution from the AI centers and all of these myths. So just tell people, maybe the best thing would be, tell us why people should be excited about this future that's coming so quickly in terms of this revolution in technology.
Steve, all of AI is an expansion that builds on us. It builds on human knowledge, human creativity. The way we train an AI model is to look at what humans have done, learn from it, enough that AI can help humans and help you to do your writing, your analysis, your summary. I mean, think about doing a Google search 3 years ago, and to brings back a dozen results, you've got to go to each of those result pages, read them over, figure out if it's relevant, and you're going to run out of attention span before you make it through the search results. But AI changes everything. AI is superb at using our language that we've taught it to dive into those results and come back with analysis and summary of your search results. That's what you see in AI overview when you do a Google search today. So that's an accessible way to understand, it is making me more efficient. But think about the creativity side. Based on the human knowledge that has been loaded into AI, it can create images, create video. On the medical field, AI is enabling us to do protein folding, medical device discovery, disease analysis, to synthesize and then test multiple approaches to solve some of the diseases and chronic problems we're having. It can also help with healthier living based on nutrition, energy production, stronger materials, all of which should double each of us, our personal productivity. In other words, we ought to be able to do twice as much higher quality work when it comes to analysis, writing, discovery, and productivity.
Yeah, that's a great point. And just in the last couple of minutes, because I'm going to be talking to Tom Phillipson about this idea of a cure for cancer, what you're saying is that this whole AI revolution will bring us much closer to these kinds of cures and winning the race for the cure.
It's so true. And any of your listeners can validate it for themselves. Jump into ChatGPT or use Google search, and you'll see how the computer is learned from our work in order to make our work more productive. Now, if each of us is twice as productive as we used to be, that means a business might need half as many people to do the work. And they're going to move those people to other aspects of the project, or people will change their careers. So it's dramatically important for people to embrace and understand how they can use AI to improve their marketability in the job market. And I don't want to necessarily panic people too much, because every month the American economy sheds 5 million jobs. I mean, let that sink in. Every month we have 5 million jobs that disappear through the changes of businesses, productivity gains, import competition, whatever it is. But each month our economy, Steve, creates 5.1 million jobs. And this has been true for 30 years. Yeah. It doesn't happen.
Well, Steve DelBianco,
Americans.
Thank you. Yeah, this is an amazing story. You're at the very tip of the spear of this. Let's have you on more often, because it's exciting and it's going to be an incredible revolution. And this is a good lead in. So thanks, Steve, for coming on.
Thanks for listening to More Money with Steve Moore. You can hear More Money with Steve Moore Saturday afternoons at 1. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially healthcare. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.